Hi there, we're just finishing up our example reading a few hours later here. But I just wanted to finish up my thoughts. We were just talking in the first part of this video about the Jupiterian influences in this spread, and we were talking about how the Wheel of Fortune was most likely a generally very positive influence in the Quarian's life right now that was making them feel very auspicious about things. Their immediate future outcome is also connected to that Jupiterian element, as Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter. So it does have kind of a free spirit element to it. That kind of, I mean, the way I would read this in this context would be that, it's not just a matter of, I suppose, gosh, I'm at a loss for words. Instead of just saying temperance is, a moderation of all things and is just kind of, a healthy balance, I think we can specifically pinpoint it to kind of the contrast between the intense amount of potential the Querent has in the current situation at the moment, in addition to their environmental factors, so this is a moment in which your intuition kind of has to come into the fore again, so that temperance is really kind of about fusing opportunity with desire and potential, and therefore regaining a kind of focus or regaining a sense of direction that was kind of lost in the Ace of Swords. So the Queen of Swords is, just to kind of wrap up, she's kind of the missing element that I haven't really talked a whole lot about. But she's someone that the Querent should probably be listening to as an advisor. She probably, having a little earthiness in her, as I mentioned before, she's a third Virgo and 2/3 Libra. That means having that dash of earthiness means that she's someone who wants to help the Querent in terms of the Three of Pentacles. She's someone who wants to help make sure that the Querent is able to create a sturdy foundation for themselves, and she is concerned that they're going to lose focus in some way. And her word is very effective in this reading. It's very powerful and helpful. And I think in this situation it would be advice that the Querent really should take into consideration, that this is the best possible outcome to follow her advice. But if things continue, we have temperance as the ultimate, well, not the ultimate, as the immediate outcome. The ultimate outcome is the Eight of Swords, and the Eight of Swords also having a Jupiterian influence. We can, as I said, and I believe in the previous half, that either all this stuff going on in their life is really going to begin to bog them down, or they're just not. Either way, this spells kind of disaster for this sense of clarity, or lack of it. That this is going to continue to be an issue in the long run for them, no matter what they do, even if they achieve temperance here. And I think it has a mix of things. This is kind of a mixed bag outcome, because we do have the Ten of Swords slightly coloring it. We have the Wheel of Fortune greatly coloring it because of their Jupiterian influence. Although, I mean, to be fair, the 10 also is relevant in connecting it to it, because it's two elements of Gemini. And, it could be interesting that Gemini is opposite Sagittarius on the zodiac wheel. And, Carly writes that the lovers and art or temperance are connected because they're opposite. And so opposition across the zodiac is another way that we can look at this. In this case, we have a fairly solid representation of Gemini through the minors, kind of counteracting, I suppose, the positivity of temperance, which is Sagittarius here. So this is clearly something that will not necessarily last for the Querent. That this sense of direction, this sense of having kind of gotten the formula right, I think, for their situation, having combined all these very different elements here, you know, that sense will kind of not go very far, I think. Perhaps it's interesting to see that pictorially the sun is setting in this card. I don't know if you can really see it. Oh, the light's too bad. But over here in the corner, the sun is setting, and the sun is ruling this card, the Ten of Swords. It's the sun in Gemini. And so we could potentially say that the blockage of the sun's creative, liberating power in the 10 is what's going to hamper this. So this is something that the Aquarian desperately needs to address if they really want to get farther in their life. If they want to kind of really use the potential that is within themselves, they need to free themselves from their traumas. They feel very pinned down by circumstance or by fate in a way. It's a very difficult situation that at the moment seems to have ended or is passed over, but will always kind of be there to haunt the Aquarian and to affect their decisions. And we can see that this is very much the heart of why the Aquarian doesn't have clarity. So in other words, this is the root of this situation, but this is the root of this situation. So this is a way we're using this method, we can kind of draw other interesting conclusions. What was I going to say? Oh, one last little bit that I noticed, and this is kind of pointless to add now, but it is interesting that we have 3 out of the 4 aces, and they're all in this clump. And it very clearly begs the question, well, where is the Ace of Pentacles? And it clearly isn't here in any way. It's only sort of here in the 3, and it's not quite steady in this. So the Ace of Pentacles is something kind of missing, and that's something to think about too. I'm not quite sure how, but having an ace missing, aces imply fresh beginnings of these elements, and perhaps they're always the Aquarian is always looking for some kind of Ace of Pentacles to fill the gap. That this is literally, if we look at this as a square, this is missing the Ace of Pentacles. It's very missing. Even the 2 active cards are paired. The Ace of Cups seems ungrounded. So we could also maybe say that because of that, the current relationship that the Aquarian is in or has started is lacking kind of a strong sexual component to it, or there's kind of a missing physical or financial aspect to it. There's something not quite right about it. Okay? So if you have any questions, please leave a comment or something. I'd love to hear back some of your thoughts on this method. If you have anything to add or whatnot. And also, I will provide a link to my blog, which has more information about this method and other stuff that I've written about. As well as on that blog, there is a page in the sidebar to request a reading. Okay, so if you're interested in that, please check it out and just send me an email at princeofcups518@gmail.com, and that's how you can kind of tell me what you're interested in having a reading for. I prefer to do general readings like this. My feeling on tarot is kind of like your guides, or whatever way you want to put it, your higher self will tell you what you need to know, and it's just a matter of asking. Okay, I'm out of here. All right, thank you for watching. Take care.